Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to speak on the opposition motions to recognise the importance of the regions and the role they play in the economy. Our 𝒂𝒈 government know that we cannot rebuild our economy without our regions and that a strong territory economy is not worth building if it does not benefit our regions. Our rebuilding the economy strategy plays to our strengths, and we've seen the latest 𝒂𝒐𝒏𝒔 report with the NT having the fastest growing economy in the nation. Ranked 1 for economic growth at 10.2% by 𝒂𝒐𝒏𝒔, construction increases up 5.5%, housing finance up 30.1%. Madam Speaker, on this side of the House, we back small business. As a previous small business owner, I know the importance of them and how they support our territory economy. We've increased the payroll tax-free threshold, which gives businesses room to breathe, opportunities to grow, think big and create more jobs. We spoke of this in our extension of the Homegrown Territory grant, with $50,000 offered for first home buyers to build or purchase a new home. And Madam Speaker, I'd like to touch a little bit here on the social housing program, because I heard the opposition leader talk earlier that, we didn't care about social housing or affordable housing, when in actual fact there is a $50 million social housing accelerator payment, which is funded by the Australian government and is being delivered by the Northern Territory government. And I did speak about it yesterday. Construction of the next 24 homes across Darwin, Katherine, Tennant Creek and Alice Springs is expected to start in October. And I'm pleased to say, Madam Speaker, we have 8 of those houses being built in the Big Rivers region. In actual fact, there's 5 being built, as I said yesterday, in Bradshaw Crescent. Casuarina Street, there's 1. Maluka Road, there's 2. So we do actually, it's not only about private investment, it is also about the social and affordable housing for low-income earners and also, people in need. So I think that's important to make sure that we, just get the balance right there. And Madam Speaker, it's a bit rich for the opposition leader and in fact the whole team, 4 of them, to suddenly decide the regions are important. The hypocrisy is not lost on me as a regional member or the good people of the Northern Territory that voted them out resoundingly at the last election. And just because the words flow out of your mouth, opposition leader, it does not mean they are true. Madam Speaker, we spoke when in opposition on the importance of the regions, as the 7 of us then in opposition were mostly from the regions, and that was 4 years ago. I was actually just going back through my speeches on the computer, and I went back and it was in 2021. We had this very conversation about the importance of the regions. And not much happened in the regions, Madam Speaker, under the previous government, but all of a sudden, here we are. So, as I said, we spoke of the importance of the regions, 5 years ago. Labor, Madam Speaker, not only ran our territory into the ground economically, they left us with a crime crisis that we have worked hard at rebuilding with our large reducing crime package. Without reducing crime, we cannot have thriving communities, but Madam Speaker, we on this side of the House can walk and chew gum at the same time, as we've been doing. And I just want to pick up on some of those crime stats. NT-wide, house break-ins have decreased 25%, commercial break-ins have decreased 26%, total property offences down 77%, assaults total including DV down 5%, assaults alcohol involved down 17%, DV-related assaults down 1%, and robbery down 24%. So also in Katherine, we've had a decrease of 9% in house break-ins, 35% in commercial break-ins, and total property offences down 5%. So, and I will note that there is an increase in a couple of assaults and DV-related assaults, Madam Speaker, in the Katherine area, but the police there and the broader team there with the circuit breaker team, the Kalano, the public housing safety officers and the police, through their evenings that they do their regular patrollers meetings. They do a great work making sure that they are keeping our community safe. So, Madam Speaker, I listened to the opposition leader, and as a regional member, she clearly only is about gloom and doom. She didn't care about the regions when in government, nor did any of them, but all of a sudden they've had an epiphany and have come to the realisation regional Territorians contribute greatly to our economy. The only positive in her contribution was all the work that is being done, in actual fact, at RAF Base Tyndall, 15 minutes from Katherine. This is $1.1 billion federal investment in providing smaller work, which is providing smaller works for territory-based companies, with many of these people living in Katherine, shopping in Katherine and renting from people in Katherine as well. We've had investment in 2 remote work camps out of town, as well as 1 in Katherine, with upgrades to the Stewart Highway for one of them as well. These Darwin-based companies are employing locals, supporting communities, and it's part of a bigger investment in developing the north. Madam Speaker, the 𝒂𝒄𝒏𝒔 government has serious credentials when it comes to backing the bush, and this goes right back to when the 𝒂𝒄𝒏 started in self-government in 1978, with parks and roads being delivered and strong support for our regions through members like Mike Reid, who was the member for Katherine, Tim Baldwin, member for Daly, we had Les McFarlane in Mataranka, to what was the seat of 𝒄𝒐𝒏𝒔, Jim Robertson in Gillen, Ian Tuxworth in the Barkly, and Roger Vale in the seat of Stewart, which is now 𝒂𝒍𝒖𝒄𝒏𝒔. So, Madam Speaker, we've had very supportive members going right back to the start of self-government, making sure that our regions are always feeling supported and kept on the focus. I'll just remind the opposition leader of the lack of support, not only for the regions, but in fact, Madam Speaker, for her own electorate. The small town of Mataranka has been trying to get land released and developed for as long as I have been the member for Katherine. Members of Roper Golf have come to me with concerns about reliability of housing developments for staff, security, and the growing town of Mataranka. The Mataranka Roadhouse has been in contact with the member for Arnhem about the sewerage problems they have been having. In the tourist season, they have to get a truck to come and empty their septic tanks almost daily because of the issues around sewerage. Madam Speaker, they heard crickets from the member for Arnhem. So whilst the opposition leader has her epiphany and realises the importance of the regions, I remind her to speak to the people in her own electorate. Mataranka has a thriving community, fantastic little markets held on Sunday mornings, great businesses there, and supportive businesses like the Mataranka Manor, owned by Charlene and Michael, who have managers moving in soon as they head off down south. Businesses like the Manor have supported the Mataranka Primary School in their swimming program, which was one of our many election commitments in education we've delivered on. Madam Speaker, it has been great to see the school increase their attendance rates under the guidance of 𝒂𝒄𝒏𝒔. 𝒂𝒄𝒏 has been at the school for many years and works in partnership with families and community. Through positive relationships with the school families, extra bus pickups and working in with Aboriginal Community Police, they have had an amazing increase of 13.5 percentage points in their attendance rates, from 54.2 to 67.7%. We know that Labor drove education off a cliff, Madam Speaker, through poor attendance rates, poor literacy and numeracy, and it's been great to have seen the hard work our attendance officers, engagement officers, school counsellors, school-based police and the ALOs have been doing to support attendance, and we've seen them be stabilised at 71.7, the attendance rates. 4 of the 6 regions went up, and 68 schools recorded higher attendance than this time last year. Mangbarra community achieved an incredible 30 percentage points increase, and they are to be applauded. A very small homeland, Madam Speaker, but as I said yesterday, these homelands and all of the smaller communities, if we don't get those kids to school, it just brings down all of the rest of the attendance rates as well. So it's great to see out in the remote and very remote regions, they are working extremely hard. Madam Speaker, economic values of the regions have been stifled under the previous Labor government. Developments such as the One Northern Renewables, Jake Groves, have been trying to get through in Katherine, were held up under Labor as they did not see the significance of allowing business and young business owners like Jake to develop land, build and add considerably to our local Katherine and greater economic region. Thanks to the member for Breitling and Minister for Lands, Planning and Environment, I've been able to work through many planned development opportunities to enable growth in my town. Bob Holt, another developer, has got a development on Florina Road that has been stifled, and again, through working with the Minister and the Department, this development will come to fruition. And there's many like that, Madam Speaker, that as the member for Katherine, I've had people coming in to, they've wanted to develop for many years, whether it be changing what their land is, whether it's going from, rural residential to being able to be a business. Those kind of things they had put into the previous government and they had not been able to get success. So it's been great to see that many of these businesses and, small business and large business have been able to actually be freed up, and that all adds to the economic growth of Katherine. I just wanted to talk a little bit, Madam Speaker, about some of the other things. Just recently I was at the Katherine High School. We opened the STEAM Centre, which was something that 5 years ago, as I was elected as the member for Katherine, I lobbied for the STEAM Centre to be built there. We hadn't had any development in that school for over 40 years, whilst up in Darwin in the Chief Minister's own electorate, we saw $37 million being spent at Darwin Middle and Darwin High, but out in the regions, again, not much money going into education. And so it was great to have been able to open the STEAM Centre a couple of weeks ago. M&J Builders did an absolutely fantastic job with that development and the renovation of the building. They used some of the school students to be able to do courses while they were there doing that building through small vet courses, and it was really great. They had a great working relationship, not only with DLI, but also with the school, and everyone was very supportive of them, and it really is a great investment in our school community. At the Katherine show, back in July, the Minister for Arts and Culture was down in Katherine along with the whole team, and we had the announcement of $1 million for an all-weather structure over our golf and over our bowls club, and that is going to make such a difference, Madam Speaker, to all of the people that are able to use that facility. It'll be all year round that they can have events, have bowls nights, have barefoot bowls. The amount of times that I see people using it now without an all-weather cover over it, it will just be tenfold by the time that cover gets on, and I look forward to seeing that come to fruition as well. Also, we had an election commitment of the multicultural facility, and I note the Minister spoke about that before. That was $1.5 million for a multicultural facility. We have a very vibrant multicultural facility, a very vibrant multicultural group in Katherine, and to have a facility where they can go have their their festivals, where I know up here there's a lot of multicultural groups that have their own buildings and whatever. In Katherine, they're always looking out for somewhere to hold their festivities. The Red Cross have the Joy of Many Colours and that festival, and they hire out the Goddenman Arts and Cultural Centre. So it would be great to be able to have festivals like that in their own in their own building. Also, I just want to touch on the Territory Energy Link. That's another big economic driver in our regions. The Territory Energy Link is a multi-user, multi-asset corridor, and it connects the Beetaloo Sub-Basin to Middle Arm, designed to carry gas, fibre optic cable, water, hydrogen, and other essential services. And that development, Madam Speaker, links the Beetaloo, and it's expected to generate tens of billions of dollars in economic activity and thousands of jobs over the coming decades. And, some of that, it'll be, picking up in Elliott there, Daly Waters, Tennant Creek, Katherine, all these small communities and towns that are close to the Beetaloo. it'll be great to see the development over time, Madam Speaker, with that Territory Energy Link, with the opening up of the Beetaloo coming on in years to come. And I just wanted to pick up also, the opposition leader spoke about Nhulunbuy. Well, Madam Speaker, it is very evident that they didn't actually get the picture on how to boost the economy or even how to manage an economy, because if you want to have future economic growth in places like Nhulunbuy, where things are slowing down, you have to get the fundamentals right. People need confidence and they need some kind of security to be able to invest in business. Small business people, as I said, are the backbone of communities, but people are not going to go and invest in that community if they don't have the confidence. And so for small businesses to go there, they need to know, it's not about government just handing out money, hand over fist, which we absolutely saw under the previous government. So, for that town to thrive, we need to make sure that the fundamentals are right to give small business the security and confidence to go there and set up, to actually make money and have a future there. So I'll just leave it there. Thank you, Madam Speaker.